So this is my evaluation for my 6-week training program for 2 clients. So to ensure the session was relevant to the client, I carried out a PRQ questionnaire as well as a lifestyle questionnaire. This included questions on personal and family health, history of any medical issues. Also included lifestyle questions on occupation, smoking, drinking, status, and level of fitness. I also added in some further questions, including barriers, which will help me work out a suitable fitness session if the client has long working hours, injuries, or family commitments. The reason why I did this was to establish the aims of my client and their motivation levels to participate in physical activity. For example, by doing extensive questions, one of my clients came back to exercise after having a knee operation. So by doing the screening, allowed me to see what I needed to adapt my session to help him recover and allow progression in the 6 weeks. Also allow him to have a full recovery after his operation. Also, by having extensive questions, allowed me to understand my client's barriers, like having college commitments, as well as what they enjoy and dislike to do. Therefore, the extra information allowed my fitness sessions to be suitable for my client, but not too tedious, and to reduce or avoid certain exercises which might not work for my client or work around their times which aren't suitable for them. For example, one of my clients was a full-time college student, so by ensuring that so I made sure that their times to exercise was after college or during the weekend, where they're more likely to have more time. And also, they already participated in football 2 to 3 times a week, so making sure the exercise program didn't really clash into days where they had matches. So the review of my exercise programs is during my client's 6-week training program, I included a review with my clients, which involved doing a fitness test in the first week, third week, and sixth week, which allowed me to see the original fitness levels and their improvements. I included a test in the third week because here I can see if the training program I made is working for my client, and they also give me any feedback on how the last 3 weeks have gone and what they have thought of the program. If they had already reached the targets in the first 3 weeks, I can adapt the program to make it harder and allow them to reset the targets which were made. However, I didn't review the session every day, and I didn't plan a way of my client giving me any dynamic feedback. I could have made a simple feedback form after every week's training sessions to review how they thought the first week's session had gone, and maybe make any changes straight away instead of waiting for the third week to have a review. And just to give me, and also this was just giving me verbal feedback, as it might not be the most effective way, because maybe them having to fill out a questionnaire, writing something down, I might have got more truth and actually how they felt, so they didn't want to hurt my feelings. So justify my exercises. The reason why I chose endurance, agility, and strength for my client one, because this involved suitable exercises for a goalkeeper, which will help not just help their overall fitness levels, but will also be suitable for a game situation. After he completed his PRQ, the information I got was also suitable for but information I got that he had already participated in sport and training, which allowed me to adapt the training session to a higher intensity straight away, because he already was quite fit. I didn't target any specific body areas because to be a successful goalkeeper relies on your whole body. So I included a lot of strength exercises like burpees, squats, jumps to help improve power. I also worked on short, sharp sprints, which again help for power. Positive of this is I helped maintain the correct intensity by using the Calm-Von principle. I did this by monitoring his heart rate, and each session increased intensity, which allowed me to track my client's progress. To make sure this worked, I made sure that their heart rate would be relevant to the correct training zone, that they would achieve the correct adaptation. Negative is, however, by raising the intensity each exercise by not only monitoring their heart rate but also increasing their sets, and they might not be realistically achievable, especially during the endurance exercises. The intensity might need to be more gradual to allow more effective progression. Also, by setting an unrealistic progression might lead to decrease in motivation, because if it may be that I set the intensity too high to start off with, and they were struggling, and they knew like, oh, next week they're having to do harder, they might just lose a bit of motivation to do it and let's not try as hard as if it was more achievable. All the sessions were different lengths of time. I found this as a positive because by making some sessions longer but working at a low intensity helped reduce tedium, and by making some training sessions shorter and at a higher intensity also help with improved adaptations. A negative though would be, although by making none of the sessions the same length can be a negative, as this means the clients cannot get in a routine. So if someone does like know what they're doing exactly the same time, that they're going to work out for an hour, 3 days a week, they might like enjoy that, but that could come as a negative. But it could be a positive if he doesn't actually want to like train an hour each day. Maybe some days he wants to do an hour, but sometimes he'd prefer to do like a higher intensity for a shorter period of time. So that's my 6 week exercise program. So my exercise session I did for a class, I thought my report, I think in this element is an area that I did okay in, because I felt comfortable with the group that I was coaching, which meant that I got involved with them while they were doing activities. For example, in one of the games where they needed to like another player, I stepped in to help them. I also think that I allowed enough, like I was like motivating the students into working hard, because I did find that actually my timings weren't like totally correct. Like maybe I made them work for too long, and then they had such a long break they lost motivation. So it was really important that I like tried to keep them involved, keep them like wanting to like achieve the goals in the session. However, one area I think I need to improve on is making sure I give them more constructive criticism, which will allow them to improve, and also maybe like correcting technique, just to help them do it and like get them thinking about like other things. I feel like the type of review I did was good. At the end, I brought the group in for a discussion with them, making a session out of 5 by asking them the different questions like, how did you feel the session went? Did you feel like you worked hard? Did you feel like it was like you achieved what like we were meant to be achieving? This allowed me to see what area I need to improve on, and gave me a vague answer on if they enjoyed the lesson. However, there are lots of methods which allow me to review my session. I did record my lesson, which I could watch back and improve it then. Or other ways I could do it is by getting them each to fill out a questionnaire at the end to see how they enjoyed it. But I'm more likely to fill a questionnaire out if I knew I wanted to repeat this session to maybe another group, so I can like make improvements. So sort of use them as like a pilot study, see if it worked, and if it didn't, then I know I need to change it. If it does work, I can use it on other people. And lastly, professional development. I felt like it was fun in this area because they were like around my age group. That I could probably talk to them in a more like informal way, because like there's respect, but it's not like you're teaching like maybe like someone older, where you have to be like more professional or more formal. And also because it's sport, it's not like having a meeting with someone. It's just it can be a bit more relaxed and have